We watched episode 16.
Almost legal. Why is Beetle Brat not...
Beetle
That's
Brat.
the easiest
I
one.
say Beetle Brat, don't
Yeah,
they?
the villains are the only ones that use it, and they miss out on using it in every other episode.
Maybe they did
We've said it
that
like twice.
first, and they went, "We're gonna name this episode." That's too easy.
Yeah. We open this episode with an old lady walking across the street.
She's at the crosswalk.
Yeah,
she's all like,
she chicken
I'm
shits and walks back.
home.
And
Literally, like they were like, convey to the entire everyone that you are old.
yeah.
Everybody,
I'm old
look
as
at
fuck.
me. I am an elderly person about to cross the street.
Yeah, it's
And
a
it's-
little boy
it's a-
in a Beetleborg costume, the blue Beetleborg
Yes.
costume.
Starts to walk her across the street. Doesn't look both ways at all.
Oh yeah,
No.
he said that he's been a Beetleborg for like 3.5 years. Which is longer than they have, I'm pretty sure.
And a Jeep comes barreling towards. Get on the grass. It'll slow you
No, he was
down
dumb.
fast. Or like at least
Dumb
hit
as
the
shit.
curb.
Hit the pedestrian on the sidewalk.
At least aim for the tree. If you're gonna take anyone out, it may as well be yourself.
I mean, aim for Joe. She's
I guess
indestructible.
Joe sees this. She gets off her bike and she grabs. Was it just a rope or was it like a jump rope or what?
It was a jump
it
rope,
and
and
she like lassos it around the hitch of the.
Which she doesn't make a lasso. She
No,
just
she-
throws it, and it
Yeah.
wraps around the tail hitch.
and stops the car, and then she gets out and she comes up to the kid in the Beetleborg costume. All kids look both ways when they cross the street. What's wrong with you?
Right.
You idiot. And then he's like, I'm not
Oliver,
I'm a
you
Beetleborg."
idiot!
And she goes, "Oh, you are an idiot. You
Yeah,
must be
like-
related to me."
You're an idiot. You must be my idiot cousin. Clearly homemade. In fact, I think he says his mom made it.
Yeah.
And
he
it's
did.
like felt fabric, maybe like washing machine knobs or something on the chest.
It's definitely not like vacuum formed plastic or anything.
No,
like
or
that.
like constructed foam or anything like that. No,
it's weird because it also at the chin, just like it gives him no chin. It goes like directly to neck and breastplate.
it's like a
'Cause-
bowl on his face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So whenever he talks, his bottom chin moves, which means the entire fucking head of it moves, and it looks like because of that slot, it looks like they're talking out of their
it looks
eyes,
like a Muppet
like
mouth.
typhus. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, it's actually a typhus cosplay in disguise.
It's a cosplay of Typhus cosplaying the Blue Beetleborg. For being the biggest Beetleborgs fan, Oliver's a piece of shit to Beetleborgs merchandise.
Yeah, he's just throwing shit around.
He walks in and shakes
sticky
Roland's
fingers.
hand and says,
Sorry, my hands are sticky. I had ice cream for lunch.
Joe, Roland, and Drew are talking to each other about going to Hillhurst. And Oliver is like, I want to go. And they're like, no, it's a haunted house. You'd be too scared. I don't really
He's like,
remember what
bitch,
his
I
argument
survived
is.
4 days on a Greyhound across the country. Try me.
The three heroes take off to go to Hillhurst. They're talking to Flabber about something. We don't really... Oh, they're talking about spring cleaning. And he's
Yeah.
like dusting stuff. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, spring cleaning. And they're like,
He opens
but it's not
up
spring.
a box.
And it's glowing
Literal
springs.
springs that just fly the fuck
Yes.
out, which...
So yeah, he's spring cleaning, and this whole time Oliver has followed them into the house and is like, this isn't haunted or scary. Ends up falling behind one of the trap doors.
as one is wont to do in
yeah.
Hillhurst.
Of course he thinks you're scary. Yes, he was just in denial.
Ends up spying on the kids, talking to Flabber, saying like, yeah, my stupid cousin's in town, and he's just a wimp and he's annoying or whatever. They're ragging on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, screw them.
Oh yeah, they say he's lame.
Yeah.
For sure, because that was the biggest 90s insult they
Yes.
could muster.
He walks outside and he goes,
Beetle Bonder. Beetle Blast.
and he like has like a homemade beetle bonder.
Yeah, it's so
And
funny
then-
because it's homemade, and
Yeah.
you know that like Saban's entire thing is like making
Using the toy.
toys.
Yeah. And it's
Oh.
not the toy. And holds it up to the sky and then just puts his mask back on because he's already in the full costume.
That's actually what they do in the real Beetle.
That's when Noxic sees him
Mm-hmm.
because Noxic was like spying on the Beetle, trying to find the Beetleborgs, I guess. Insults him like, what are you? Like, are you supposed to be a Beetleborg?
Yeah, I'm a real Beetleborg.
Oliver says one of the funnier things that happens where
Destroys him.
Did your mom make your costume?
what did you say, kid?
Well, because you look just as stupid as ugly as the real Noxic.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of a compliment, but also an insult because he's saying the real Noxic looks stupid and ugly, and it's the real Noxic.
There's no
But
reason
also-
to assume that Noxic is, which this disproves our theory that this is the only centralized location that like the Beetleborgs are defending against.
Right.
It's not spread out beyond Charterville, right?
They're
Yeah.
only in Charterville. Noxic lunges at him like he's gonna fucking kill him. He teleports Oliver down into their
have a
like
nice ass.
tomb. Is showing him off to Vexor. They're all terribly uncertain.
Clinton
This
Hawkeye.
isn't a real Beetleborg. I don't know if this is a real Beetleborg.
Yeah,
And
they
he's got
fought the Beetleborgs multiple times,
Yes.
but they think this
They're
little
like,
kid
no,
in a costume.
This one that's 5 foot tall and made of felt.
If you know what, if it was an original Beetleborgs costume, I would have written off
if it
so
was
many
like the
things
purple
that I have
board
issues with.
before we get a purple one.
Or yellow.
Yeah.
We don't have a yellow one.
Right.
Not even in metallics. There's no yellow Borg.
They end up Oliver pulls out a camera and he's like asking everybody to take all the villains to
Yeah.
take pictures.
And they do
he
take
hands-
the first
Yeah,
picture.
they pose for it. And
Yeah.
then he hands it to Vexor.
Well,
the
and the
biggest
Flash
bad.
is
He literally goes. He even says, Vexor, take our picture.
And he
because he
takes
thinks
it.
they're all in cosplay.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I have an idea. Remember Photominator?
Yeah. They summon Photominator and he's a
Camera.
He's a camera with arms and legs.
He's a
That's all it
Polaroid.
is.
If the it's not really a spoiler for the Mandalorian, but like if you understand what Swole 2 D2 means, you'll understand what like
This is Swole 2 Nikon.
yeah.
Jara and Typhus go to watch the fight between the 3 actual Beetleborgs, the Magnivore jet fighters, and Photominator. Photominator is sitting there with like 5 or 6 scabs. Beetleborgs kick the shit out of the scabs like they always do. We don't see the scabs as much as I wish we did because
They demolish them.
Yeah.
They rip off
type
body
characters.
parts. They send
They-
it home to their families.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because we don't see them enough, but they seemed a little more brightly colored this time around.
It's normally a little washed out.
Yeah,
It was
and
really
it was vibrant.
bright.
Yeah,
this
and it
time.
was
It was like
not.
sharp.
It wasn't
Yeah.
because it was American footage. Cause
No, it was Japanese.
It was
footage.
Japanese
And the-
footage
the
for
biggest-
sure.
like, I think we've
because
said
the
this
guns
before.
were purple.
Yes, yeah. The American footage, the guns are purple. The Japanese footage, the guns are silver. The whole Magnivore jet fight with the Beetle AVs is all shit we've seen before.
Except this
except
time-
one scene inside the battle base.
Yeah, and
We
you get to
see
see all of them as if
all
they're in a
three in
they're
the-
in a garage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was a neat shot, and I wish we saw more of it.
Yeah,
It was a
because
split second.
you usually just see like
Each
the
one
out,
coming out.
of it. Yeah, and it starts off with like the red one, and it
Yeah.
flies off, and then you're gonna. Actually,
They
I feel
fight
bad criticizing
Photominator.
that now.
While they're fighting him, whatever.
It's
Oliver
a fucking
is down.
camera.
I know.
The voice is definitely male.
So Oliver
it's
is
a
down
camera.
with Noxic in the catacombs, annoying the living shit out of him.
He's got a recorder
Yeah.
that you said it looks like he yanked off one of Noxic's dreads and started just tooting it like a flute.
A little bit.
So Noxic teleports him into.
Yeah.
We thought he like murdered him.
Yeah, because he's just like, yeah, go away, and flashes his hands, and,
And the
he
kid
disappears
vanishes.
into a black fucking
Yeah,
hole.
which is right in front of a coffin.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Oliver died. He just teleports him up into the middle of a fucking Beetleborg battle. He teleports him up into the middle of this battle. The Beetleborgs kick Photominator's ass.
yeah.
Like,
The red Drew. He has a weapon
one.
that have we seen that before? Where it's they
Joe.
do all reprise their hand weapons,
Yeah.
but then he does a special thing where it's kind of like Vegeto's or Frieza's like finger beams. That's Joe.
Yeah, I think it was Joe, and I think it because she
Yeah.
has the blaster that has like 5 points on it, and
Well,
I think they
she's
did
only ever
weird,
used it as like a blaster,
but she like punches.
These are
with it.
like 5 different beams.
Yeah.
boring into Photominator.
Photominator.
He just like turns into this ball of red fire.
So he like first he just stands there and he's not even in agony. He's laughing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, they didn't get him. Photominator
Alright,
just like
alright.
the shitty like cheap fire thing that we see all the graphic that we see all the time.
what do we call it? Overlay, special effect. We always say it's like Microsoft.
I usually go for After Effects.
Yeah, yeah, it's like After Effects flame.
gradually covers him, and then he compresses into like the little flame ball they turn into when they disappear into the comic. But this one had like a Sauron eye in the
It was-
middle. He just flies back into the comic that the
Oh, we
the
didn't even
bullet is-
mention that because that was such a non sequitur that didn't even matter.
Yeah, that he flew out of the comics. Yeah,
yeah,
'cause we
at
don't
the
even-
pizza place with Heather,
yeah, when Photominator gets put back in that same comic,
which is on the table of
On
Trip
the
and Van
table.
or Trip
There-
and Van's
yes,
date with Heather.
creepy thing. Van throws the pizza and it lands on Trip's
No,
head.
it's the isn't it the waiter dude? Because it was the whole
It was the
pizza.
other kid.
It was the whole
It was the
pizza,
other
but
kid
it
for
was-
sure.
Oh yeah, the other
Yeah.
kid coming back with the pizza.
Yeah, he came back with the pizza, and Photominator bites it. The 3 Beetleborgs are talking to Oliver, still in his costume, and he's like,
I gotta get a photo.
so they like do a little pose, and the 2 boys hold
Make a
Joe
little
up,
love.
and they don't reveal their identities, which was a little disappointing because I assumed they would.
Well, and they almost let it slip because they call him Oliver, and he's
Yeah.
like,
How'd you know my name?
How do you know my name? And they go, our Beatles scanners
Yeah.
scanned you and knew it. I
They
was like,
took your social security card, so shut the fuck up.
we see all the kids back at the comic shop. Oliver's out of his Beetleborg costume, and he says,
Since you guys like me so much, I'm gonna stay another week.
Yeah, because they feel bad because
And
it's like,
then-
I wanted to be a Beetleborg, so my cousins thought that I was cool.
yeah, and they're like,
they
no,
don't
we
like
think you're
me.
cool anyway.
And you're like, hey, you just need to be yourself, man. And everyone had a little guilt trip and a little saying. And so
Yeah.
he's like,
The
"Now I'm
morality.
gonna stay an extra.
and then
Fuck you.
Roland's
And-
family
and then
just
all of
bursts
it-
out
yeah.
laughing.
Yeah, Big Nano, Roland's dad,
Just burst
and
out
Roll.
laughing. And then we get a new end credit scene of the monsters taking photographs of each other.
Oliver, they took the ideas of the trope he was supposed to represent and literally put the bullet points in instead of having the bullet points and connecting them. Like, you have annoying relative, and then you have annoying relative hears bad thing about them, and then you have family that said bad thing feels bad about saying annoying thing.
But they
with
don't-
no real
They don't
development.
really learn anything. Yeah, there's no
No.
character development in this.
No
There's
one
been
grows.
some character development in the last few episodes. A
Yeah,
little bit.
Honestly, the one with Quincy Moto.
There was a moment
Yeah,
of growth.
it was
there
a
was.
little
There was
like
a moral.
safe.
It was
but
questionable at
Yeah.
best, but it was there. They
It was-
tried.
half an attempt is
The
better
s-
than no attempt.
Yeah, the skeleton frame of it was there. What should have happened was they're shitty to Oliver. He gets into trouble. They save him, realize that he just cares a lot and that he's just a little weird.
Yeah.
And they start, but no, we see none of that. They
And
just
then,
like,
and then G.I. Joe comes in and explains to them.
yes.
I guess to be fair, this
The
is
more
kind
you
of
know.
accurate to
Knowing
my
is
real
half
life
the battle.
cousin
Yes,
experience.
there you go.
The more you know. I'm Walter Cronkite. I'm G.I. Joe.
I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have G.I. Joe abilities.
He was just in denial. In fact, I'm scared of you right now. Yeah, sure.